Honey, grab the biggest glass of wine you have. I'm talking the whole bottle because the story I'm about to tell you is going to make your blood boil, curdle, and then freeze over. It is a tale of audacity so thick you could cut it with a knife, and karma so sweet it'll give you a cavity. I flew 1,000 miles just to deliver the coldest line in history to the people who ruined my life. And let me tell you, it was worth every single penny. Let's start at the end, or what they thought was the end. Imagine a sterile hospital room. You know the smell, antiseptic, and despair. My parents are there, looking old and pathetic. My sister, the golden child, is lying in the bed, looking like a ghost. The doctor is beaming, holding a clipboard, looking at me like I'm an angel sent from above. He says, "It's a miracle. You're a perfect match." And the room practically sighs with relief. My mother is crying, reaching out for my hand. My sister looks at me with those big, teary doe eyes, thinking she's won again. Thinking that because we share blood, she's entitled to my body parts. And that is when I leaned in, smiled the sweetest, most venomous smile I could muster, and dropped the bomb that shattered their entire world. But to understand why I did that, to understand why I'm not the villain in this story, you need to know how we got here. I've been married to Mark for 6 years, or I was. We were that annoying couple that everyone secretly hated because we were so good together. We finished each other's sentences, we had the inside jokes, we survived the for poorer part of the vows, and we're finally getting to the for richer part. I loved him. God, I loved him so much it physically hurt sometimes. I thought he was my person. Then, about 8 months ago, my little sister Chloe moved back to our hometown. Now you have to understand the dynamic here. Chloe is the golden child. Capital G, capital C. In my parents' eyes, the sun rises and sets on her perfectly manicured shoulders. I was the practice kid, the draft. Chloe was the masterpiece. When we were 16, I got a beat-up Honda Civic that smelled like wet dog and rattled when I went over 40. 2 years later, Chloe turned 16 and got a brand new convertible Mustang. She needs a safe car, my dad said, as if my tin can on wheels was a tank. She did dance, cheerleading, pageants. My parents spent thousands, I'm talking tens of thousands, driving her 6, 7 hours away for competitions. They never missed a single one. Meanwhile, I begged for $50 to go to a science camp at the local community college, and my mom looked at me like I asked her to finance a mission to Mars. "Money's tight, honey," she'd say, while signing a check for Chloe's rhinestone-encrusted leotard. It was a million little cuts like that, a lifetime of being second best. So when Chloe moved away to Florida at 18 with her boyfriend, I wasn't sad. I was relieved. I finally had room to breathe. I stayed. I built a career. I met Mark. And I created a life where I wasn't invisible. But the golden child always returns when the shine wears off. Chloe came back because her boyfriend dumped her. Apparently, he left her destitute. She came home with a sob story about how he was crazy, toxic, maybe even cheating. I didn't verify it. Why would I? She's my sister. Even if we weren't close, I didn't think she was a liar. She moved back in with mom and dad, and of course, she was struggling. She couldn't find a job that suited her talents. So, like the idiot I am, I stepped up. I wanted to be the big sister. I wanted to bridge the gap. I'm a senior manager at a marketing firm. I have pull. I stuck my neck out and got her a job in my husband's department. Mark works in sales at the same company. It seemed perfect. She'd have a job, Mark could keep an eye on her, and she'd get back on her feet. Looking back, I didn't just hand her the gun. I loaded it, polished the bullets, and drew a target on my own forehead. At first, I thought it was nice. Chloe was coming over for dinner, hanging out. I thought, hey, maybe we're finally going to have that sisterly bond. But then the vibe shifted. It wasn't anything blatant at first. It was humidity. You know when a storm is coming and the air gets heavy? That's what my house started to feel like. I'd come home from work. I work late, usually 10 to 7, and Mark and Chloe would already be there. Mark gets off at 4:30. They'd be sitting on the couch just a little too close. The laughter would stop abruptly when I walked in. "Just work stuff," Mark would say, not looking me in the eye. "Inside jokes," Chloe would giggle, sipping wine that I paid for out of a glass I bought. I started to feel like the third wheel in my own marriage. If I tried to join the conversation, they'd look at each other with this knowing glance, like I was an intruder interrupting something important. If you're already shook and your gut is telling you exactly where this is going, hit that like button, because honey, I haven't even gotten to the pillowcase yet. That's right, the pillowcase. I am a creature of habit. I have a very specific way I make the bed every morning before I leave. It's almost OCD. I always put the pillows so the open side of the case faces the edge of the bed. It keeps the bed looking tidy. One Tuesday, I came home early. Mark didn't know I was coming. His car was in the drive. Chloe's car was in the drive. They were in the kitchen making dinner. It seemed innocent enough. Mark kissed me hello. Chloe gave me a hug. But something felt electric, jittery. Later that night, I went into the bedroom to change. I looked at the bed. Two of the pillows, the ones on Mark's side and my side, were flipped. The open ends were facing the middle. I froze. My brain tried to do the mental gymnastics. Did I rush this morning? Did the cat do it? No, the cat doesn't have opposable thumbs. I walked back out and asked Mark casually, "Hey, were you napping in the bed today?" He looked up from the TV and I saw it, just for a microsecond. Panic. "No," he said, his voice a little too high. "Why?" "The bed isn't how I left it," I said. Chloe didn't look up from her phone. Mark laughed, a nervous, breathless sound. "You're crazy, Lena. Nobody's been in the bed. You probably just forgot." Gaslighting, the favorite tool of the guilty. I dropped it, but the seed was planted. I started looking for things. I checked his phone, clean. I checked his laptop, clean. But they worked together 8 hours a day. They drove to work together sometimes. They didn't need to text. They were living their affair in real time. 2 weeks later, my parents invited us over for a barbecue. It was going fine until I saw it, the moment that shattered my denial into a million jagged pieces. I was in the kitchen getting a refill. Through the sliding glass door, I saw Mark and Chloe on the patio. Mark reached out and grabbed her arm, not aggressively, but tenderly. He pulled her in. She turned, and for 1 second, they touched foreheads. It was intimate. It was the kind of gesture you only do with someone you love. Then Chloe saw me through the glass. She jolted back like she'd been burned. Mark looked up, saw me, and just smiled. A cold, empty smile. He went back to flipping burgers like nothing happened. I'm not an idiot. I knew. But God, I didn't want to believe it. I had planned a weekend getaway for us to the city. Fancy hotel, dinner, just us. I told myself I was imagining things. I told myself I was just jealous of the golden child again. We went on the trip. Friday night was great. We drank, we danced, we were intimate. And let me tell you, that makes me sick to my stomach now, knowing where his hands had been, knowing who he was probably thinking about. Saturday morning, we were getting ready for brunch. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I was putting on my earrings, looking at him in the mirror. "Are you sleeping with my sister?" I asked it just like that, point blank, no tears, no screaming, just a question. I expected him to deny it. I expected him to call me crazy again. Instead, he teared up. He sat on the edge of the bed and looked at the floor. "Yes," he whispered. My world stopped. The air left the room. "Why?" I managed to choke out. "I don't know," he said. "It just happened. We clicked. She understands me in a way you don't. It started with lunch, then we were kissing, and then, I'm sorry, Lena, I didn't mean to hurt you." He didn't mean to hurt me. He slept with my sister. I asked the question that had been haunting me. "Did you sleep with her in our bed that day the pillows were moved?" He turned his head away in shame. That was my answer. I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I went completely cold. I grabbed my purse. I didn't pack a bag. I didn't take my clothes. I walked out of that hotel room, got in my car, and drove 3 hours home alone, sobbing so hard I almost crashed twice. I left him there. He had to take an Uber home. When I got back, I packed a bag and went to a hotel. I called my parents the next day, and this is where the betrayal went from a stab wound to a beheading. They already knew. My mom sighed into the phone. "Lena, honey, we're so sorry. We know it hurts, but these things happen. You know Chloe has had such a hard time lately. She needed support, and Mark was there. They didn't plan for this." I was speechless. "She is sleeping with my husband, Mom, and you're defending her?" "We're not defending her," my dad chimed in. "We just think you need to look at the bigger picture. Mark is a good man. Chloe is your sister. Maybe you weren't giving Mark what he needed." I hung up. I blocked them. I blocked Mark. I blocked Chloe. The divorce was brutal. Mark tried to play nice at first, offering me the house and the savings out of guilt. But then Chloe got in his ear. Suddenly, he wanted half the house. He wanted the retirement accounts. I didn't care. I liquidated the savings account I had access to, which was most of it, thank God for being the financial planner in the family, and moved it to a new bank. I let him have the house. I let him have the furniture. I wanted nothing that they had touched. Just like that, 9 years of my life were incinerated. Chloe moved in with him immediately, and the cruelty, it was breathtaking. A week after the papers were signed, Chloe tagged me in a Facebook post. It was a selfie of her and Mark, her arms wrapped around his neck, kissing his cheek. The caption, "Finally happy, sometimes you have to follow your heart even when people try to stand in your way." Soulmates, sorry, not sorry. I vomited, physically vomited. Then Mark texted me, "Sorry about the post. She's just excited. No hard feelings, right? I hope we can still be friends. You'll find someone who fits you better." I deleted my social media, I changed my number, I packed up what was left of my life, and I moved. Not just to the next town, I moved to Seattle. Thousands of miles away from the toxicity, the gaslighting, and the two people who destroyed me. I went full no contact. My parents didn't know where I was, Mark didn't know, Chloe didn't know, I was a ghost. Make sure you're subscribed because the update I'm about to drop is going to make you scream, throw your phone, and then pick it up again because you have to know what happens. Update 1, 4 years later. Hi, everyone. I know it's been a long time, but a lot has happened. First, let me tell you about me. I'm okay. Actually, I'm better than okay. I'm thriving. When I got to Seattle, I was a broken shell of a person. I spent a year in intensive therapy. I had to deprogram myself from a lifetime of being the scapegoat and the trauma of the betrayal. I tried dating, but men terrified me. Then I met David. David is a chef. He owns a restaurant with his twin sister. Ironic, I know, but they have a healthy relationship. He is kind, he is loyal, and he treats me like I hung the moon. He knows everything about my past, and he hates my family almost as much as I do. We're engaged now, and life is beautiful. But the audacity of my family knows no bounds. About 9 months after I left, a letter arrived at my old P.O. box that I had forwarded to my lawyer. It was a wedding invitation for Mark and Chloe. The invitation had a picture of them hugging in a sunflower field, probably the same field where Mark and I took our engagement photos. Tacky doesn't even cover it. Included was a handwritten note from my mother. "Lena, please come home. You need to forgive and put this behind us. We are a family and families work through problems. Chloe wants you to be her maid of honor. Mark wants you there to show there's no bad blood. Please be the bigger person for once. Be the bigger person." The mantra of the abuser. I didn't respond. I burned the invitation in my kitchen sink and poured a glass of champagne. My lawyer sent a cease and desist letter to ensure they knew never to contact me again. Fast forward to last week. The past came knocking, literally. I was at David's restaurant, sitting at my usual corner table, working on some marketing copy. David was in the kitchen. The door opened, and who walked in? Mark. He looked terrible. He's gained about 40 pounds, his hairline is receding, and he looked gray. He wasn't the shiny prize Chloe stole anymore. He spotted me. I don't know how he found me. Maybe a private investigator, maybe social media leaks. He walked over, looking nervous. "Lena?" I didn't even look up from my laptop. "You have 10 seconds to leave before I have the kitchen staff remove you like trash." "Please," he said, sitting down uninvited. "I just need to talk. I made a mistake." I looked at him then. Which one? Sleeping with my sister, marrying her, or wearing that shirt? He winced. All of it. She's crazy, Lena. You were right. She spent all our money. She cheated on me multiple times with guys from work, with her ex from Florida. I'm divorcing her. I wanted to apologize. I realized too late that you were the best thing that ever happened to me. I laughed. It was a loud, barking laugh that made the other diners turn around. "You want closure?" I asked. "Yes," he said, eyes full of hope. "And maybe a fresh start?" "Mark, listen to me closely. You are nothing to me. You are a stain on my history that I have scrubbed clean. The fact that my sister cheated on you is the funniest joke I've heard in years. You deserve each other. You deserve the misery. Now get out." David walked out of the kitchen then, wiping his hands on a towel. He saw Mark. He saw my face. David is 6'2" and handles knives for a living. He walked over, put a hand on the table, and said, "Is this the guy?" I nodded. David pointed to the door. "Out, now, before I make you into a special." Mark scrambled out of there so fast he almost tripped over a chair. I thought that was it. I thought I had won. I was wrong. Final update, the kidney. I never thought I'd be writing this. I thought I was done with them. I'm now 41. David and I have 2 beautiful daughters. My life is full. I have a family that loves me, in-laws who adore me, and peace. About 3 months ago, the messages started. New accounts, blocked numbers, emails to my work. It was my parents. It was desperate. "Please call us. Emergency. Life and death." I ignored them. I assumed they wanted money. I assumed Mark had taken everything in the divorce and they needed a bailout. Then Chloe messaged me, "I'm dying, please." I didn't believe it. But then the lawyer reached out. It was legitimate. Chloe has been battling an autoimmune disease that attacked her kidneys. She's in end-stage renal failure. She needs a transplant or she dies. My parents are too old and have health issues. They aren't matches. Mark is obviously gone. They needed me. I agreed to a Zoom call, just me, no kids. I didn't want them seeing my children. When the camera turned on, I was shocked. My parents looked ancient, broken. Chloe looked like a corpse. Her skin was gray, her eyes sunken, her hair thin. The golden child had tarnished. They didn't even say hello. My dad just started crying. "Lena, thank God. We didn't think you'd answer." "Make it quick," I said. "She needs a kidney," my mom blubbered. "She has 6 months, maybe less. We've tested everyone. You're the best chance. You're her sister. Please. We know we messed up. We know we hurt you. But this is life or death. Can you just get tested?" Chloe spoke, her voice raspy. "I'm sorry, Lena, for everything. I was stupid. I was jealous. I ruined your life. Please don't let me die because of it." I sat there looking at them on my screen, the people who threw me away like garbage, the sister who smirked while she stole my husband, the parents who told me to be the bigger person, and I felt nothing. But then a dark thought entered my mind, a thought so petty, so vengeful, that I almost scared myself. "I'll think about it," I said. "I'll get the preliminary blood work done here in Seattle. If I'm a match, I'll come to the hospital." They wept with gratitude. They thanked me. They called me an angel. I got tested. I was a match. A perfect 6 of 6 antigen match. The doctors here said it was rare to see such a good match. I told David my plan. He looked at me, worried. "Are you sure you want to do this? It's going to be heavy." "I have to," I said. "I need them to know." I flew back to Missouri. I walked into that hospital, and that brings us back to the beginning. The sterile room, the hopeful faces. The doctor finished explaining how perfect the match was. "We can schedule the surgery for as early as Tuesday," he said, smiling. My mom was sobbing. "Oh, Lena, thank you. Thank you for forgiving us. Thank you for saving her." I stepped closer to the bed. I looked down at Chloe. She reached out her hand to touch mine. I didn't take it. I took a deep breath, and I let the silence hang in the room for a long, uncomfortable moment. "I think there's been a misunderstanding," I said, my voice steady and clear. The room went quiet. The doctor's smile faltered. "Excuse me?" I looked at my parents, then at Chloe. "I didn't come here to schedule surgery," I said. "I came here to tell you that I am a match. I am the perfect match. I am the only person in the world who can save you right now." Hope was still in their eyes, but confusion was creeping in. "And I want you to know," I continued, leaning in closer to Chloe, "that I am choosing not to." The sound my mother made was inhuman. It was a gasp that turned into a shriek. "What? What are you saying?" "I'm saying no," I said. "You stole my husband. You destroyed my life. You, Mom and Dad, treated me like I was disposable my entire childhood. You threw me away for her. And now you want my body parts? You want me to cut myself open to save the person who cut me open emotionally?" I stood up straight. "No, I'd rather give my kidney to a stranger. I'd rather throw it in the trash. You made your bed, Chloe. Now you can die in it." My dad lunged at me, screaming, "You monster! She's your sister! How can you be so cruel?" "Cruel," I laughed. "Cruel is sleeping with your sister's husband in her bed. Cruel is telling your daughter to get over being betrayed. This isn't cruel, Dad. This is consequences." I looked at the doctor, who was standing there with his mouth open, looking like he wanted to dissolve into the floor. "I am not consenting to any procedure. Do not contact me again. If you do, I will file a restraining order so fast your heads will spin." I turned around and walked out. Behind me, the chaos erupted. The heart monitors were beeping. My mother was screaming my name. My dad was cursing. I walked down the hallway, took the elevator to the lobby, and walked out into the fresh air. The sun was shining. Birds were singing. I called David. "It's done," I said. "Are you okay?" he asked. "I'm great," I said. "I'm coming home." I blocked their numbers again before I even got to the airport. That was 3 days ago. I haven't heard a word, probably because they know I meant what I said about the restraining order. Some people might think I'm evil. Some people might say, babe, but she's dying. And you know what? Maybe I am a villain in their story, but in mine, I'm the hero who finally stood up for herself. Chloe wanted everything I had. My parents wanted me to give everything to her. Well, I finally gave them something. I gave them the truth. So, am I the asshole? Maybe. But I'm an asshole with 2 healthy kidneys and a happy life, and I sleep like a baby. Now, let me ask you this. If someone destroyed your marriage and your life, would you save them? Or would you let karma do its dirty work? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more tea. Bye, honey.